So for a perfect square trinomial, what we're really looking at is the concept of perfect square, so something that can really be squared to result in a trinomial. Okay, so what we're looking at is if I gave you something like a plus b, that quantity, and I squared it. So I'm squaring a binomial, and we're going to end up with a trinomial. We're talking about how do we go backwards on this. This is the harder part. So really what we've got then, if we look at these steps, is I've got a plus b times that quantity of a plus b. Okay, because that's what that squaring means. And now we're going to go ahead and distribute this out. So I've got a times a, which gives me a squared. I'm going to go ahead and do the center. So I've got a times b, that's ab, and b times a, which still in alphabetical order, that's ab, and then b times b, which gives me b squared. All right, so now we're going to combine our like terms. So what I've got now is a squared plus, well, I have ab plus ab, so that's 1 plus 1. So I've got 2ab plus b squared. And now what we have is the concept of this is a perfect square trinomial. Okay, now there is the other version. We can also do this version here, which is the quantity of a minus b squared, which again would be a minus b times a minus b. And if we did that process of multiplying this out, going ahead and distributing this out and factoring it all, I mean multiplying it and distributing, we would end up with a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so this is another version of it. Notice the similarities between the two. Only difference between the two is really this one here has a plus and this one has a minus. Okay, no other real difference to it. But we're going to look at how do we use this to come up with some solutions. So they may give us something like, is the following trinomial a perfect square? And we'll start off with kind of a relatively simple one. So let's say we had something like that would give us x squared plus 10x plus 25. And they want to know, is that a perfect square? All right, so what we're going to look at is how do we go backwards on this just to kind of get an idea. So really what I'm looking at is, can I write this as a square? So really this writes out as x squared. Can I write this as a perfect square? Well, that one is 5 squared. And in order to get the middle, what we're really looking at here is, can I take this middle, and if you looked at those patterns, we can kind of go back and look at those patterns one more time. Both those patterns had a multiple of 2 times AB. Okay, so we're just going to double the first times the last. So if I multiplied this, 2 times x times 5. Okay, so this is our A value. This is our B value. Okay, that came from here. And when I multiply that together, what do I get? Well, I get x squared plus 10x plus 25. So does this turn out to be a perfect square? Yeah, actually this turns out to be a perfect trinomial square because of the fact that we've got this. X plus 5 squared will give us our final result. And so that would be what it looked like in its factored form. So when we're talking about a perfect square trinomial, what we're really looking at is there a binomial that I can square in order to get that trinomial as a result?